I'm so glad to have both of you. John Rich, I don't know what you don't have your hands in to give Americans more options to be free of the corporations and the government. You're now working with Dr. Simone Gold, and I just love that. Of course, you're also one of the co-founders of Old Glory Bank. Dr. Gold and John, the fight over Bobby Kennedy is prime example of the fight we have against big pharma and big food. And it's deeply entrenched in our government, as you know, Dr. Gold. And I don't think they're going to give up easily and just say, hey, yeah, you can take us as task and reform us.
You know, Pete Hegseth was saying he's a change agent. They haven't seen anything until the Bobby Kennedy confirmation hearings. Big pharma and insurance industry is the most powerful force on the planet. It is more powerful than the federal government. That is going to be the most difficult confirmation hearing. I'm very fond of Bobby Kennedy. He's the biggest change agent we will see, and I believe he will get through.
You, John, you think he'll get through?
Can you imagine the questions they're going to ask him and what his answers are going to be? I mean, I would like to see a bunch of Democrats and probably some rhinos as well, because a lot of Republicans are also on the payroll of big food and big pharma. When he says, hey, did you know that high fructose corn syrup causes A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Did you know that? And they're going to go, and so they're going to try to defend the position of, no, we need to keep feeding our kids and our people this crap all the time. That's what they're going to be faced with. I think the reason they haven't scheduled his appearance yet, his confirmation, is because they don't know how to handle this guy, because he's going to come at them with truth bomb after truth bomb. And how are you going to defend that? And listen to your opening statement, Emerald. You said, I couldn't even believe what I was reading. There are lobbyists for high fructose corn syrup. There are lobbyists for that. So next thing you're going to tell me there's lobbyists for cyanide. Maybe we have a cyanide lobby out there in the United States. I mean, that's how ridiculous it is. And Americans are awake to it now. This is not a conservative thing. This is across the board. Everybody's realizing that our food is full of toxins and poisons. So I think they're scared to death of him. And if it comes down to it, Trump has said he'll put people in on recess appointments if he has to.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that you said that about the Republican senators, because we just had a guest on before you, a former CIA agent, Kevin Shipp, John, who said explicitly that he knows for sure one specific senator who is in the CIA pocket, and he expects that Republican senator to give Bobby Kennedy a hard time.
They're all big pharma donates to both sides of the aisle. I think everyone, I think except Matt Gaetz, took money from big pharma.
I'm sure that's true. I agree with that, Dr. Gold. I just wondered though. Here's the problem that I think they have, is that it's too hard to put the genie back in the bottle now. Too many people are informed about the corruption in the insurance agencies, the corruption in big pharma, that they've been poisoned. Of course, they've been poisoned since the COVID-19 pandemic, but now they know they've been being poisoned for a long time. And now they have more options like goldcare.com to treat themselves more naturally. So I just don't know if the American people will accept this anymore.
Right. Thank God that Elon Musk bought Twitter, changed it to X, because there's a lot of places now, podcasts like yours, where people can get the truth. And also, a lot of people were harmed directly in their own life, and they saw that the government and the media lied to them. Many people, many Americans took the shots, for example, and even if they didn't have a side effect from the shot, virtually everybody who took the shot later got COVID. So they directly witnessed that the government was not truthful with them. This woke people up, I think, more than anything. So there's a lot of freedom solutions coming to light. Just like we have Old Glory Bank in the banking space. We have goldcare.com in the medical space. If you're looking for honest, unbiased information from independent physicians who have no reason to lie to you, who are not on big pharma payroll, you've come to the right place, goldcare.com. And I don't think you can put the genie back in the bottle, as exactly stated.
Yeah, we have kind of, even despite the fact of the win, John, with Donald Trump, I feel like we still have to go with our sort of parallel economy, right? You've done that with Old Glory Bank and offering people banking options. And look, I'll tell you, people are still having problems with the banks, despite there is a little more hesitancy, I think, on the part of the corporations to go all out on discrimination right now that Donald Trump is taking over, but they've not completely let go of their bad practices. So I do think we still have to move along. We can't get complacent, right? We have to move along in the direction we were going and setting up other economic options, other institutions to give people more freedom options.
Well, yeah. Do you think Donald Trump's going to be president forever? I mean,
Some people
at
seem to
some
think
point.
that, though.
Well, right. I mean, they act like that's what it's going to be like. That is not true. And he's got 4 years, and if he was working 24/7, which he'll be close to doing it, he still won't be able to play whack-a-mole to the level you'll have to play it to knock each and every one of these people out and these systems out. So parallel economy is absolutely necessary, not just for now, but for forever. Really, we have to do it. I think Dr. Gold is an absolute hero. How about that? She's a hero. She's a patriot. She stood out there when nobody else had the you know what to stand out there and call out Big Pharma and call out the CDC, the WHO, the NIH, FDA, and everybody else. She's been drugged through the mud, besmirched, smeared in every which possible way you can imagine. Which, when I saw that, Emerald, that's when I knew she was one of the good guys. Because when the bad guys hate you, that's a thumbs up from me. And so I got to know about goldcare.com because Dr. Gold told me about it. She said, I'm starting this thing. I said, well, tell me about it. She said, it's hundreds, it's thousands of doctors across the U.S. that are independent doctors. I said, what's an independent doctor? She said, that's a doctor that's not taking kickbacks from Big Pharma. That's a doctor that's not part of a massive conglomerate medical institution. These guys are just one-off doctors that are going to tell you the truth. They're not getting paid to lie to you or manipulate you into some kind of a move. I said, well, that's a big plus right out of the gate. So I went on the website. I joined. A family can join gocare.com for $20 a month. Now, you talk about a ace up your sleeve to be able to go on this website and book a 15 or 30-minute appointment with any one of their doctors, which I don't even know how many Dr. Golds you have. It's a lot. And all these PhDs and specialists, and you can ask them anything you want to ask. You can say, hey, my primary physician told me I should do X, Y, and Z, but I read some stuff about that's not the best call. What is your opinion? And then you're going to get an opinion that's actually truthful because they're not being paid to give you Big Pharma's opinion or Big Medicine's opinion. And what an incredible thing. My wife's already had 3 appointments on goldcare.com. I've already had 2 just because I couldn't get the answers I wanted out of a doctor I've had now for 15 years. I couldn't get the answers. So I think you made a good parallel. What we're doing with Old Glory Bank in the banking world, that's exactly what Dr. Gold is doing with medicine. I would say even more important because it's your health, it's your family, it's your future.
Yeah, it is.
Go ahead. Sorry. Now, our belief is that the American people should have the opportunity to be educated, to get unbiased information. So we give robust education classes. We have all that information out there. You probably have questions, about Governor Newsom declaring a state of emergency over bird flu in California. So we host webinars on things like that. You're probably wondering about Ozempic. You've heard a lot about Ozempic.
I saw that
right?
one. I piped into that one because I'm like, whoa, wait, I have to hear what she has to say about this. So I love that. I love that you gave these educational classes.
Yeah. So but we did, if you popped into the Ozempic one, we did the risks, the benefits, and the informed consent. Are you aware that there are GLP-1 agonists that are natural? Like we give all of it. We're not sugarcoating it, nor are we hiding the information from the American people. Never again, as long as I'm alive, with my last breath, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that the American people have enough information so that they never again allow their constitutional freedoms to be eroded.
I love that. And I'm a huge geek. So I love just information. Even if I wasn't interested in the GLP-1 thing, I've been like, that's interesting. I just love information. And the more information you have, of course, the better decisions you can make. But before I let you go, Dr. Gold, I do have to ask you about one other topic, because not only were you targeted for speaking out about Big Pharma, you were targeted for speaking out for pro-freedom, just for freedom in general. And you were specifically targeted by the Biden regime. Today they had the confirmation hearing for the Attorney General nominee, Pam Bondi. Weaponization came up a lot in that hearing. She did not give the Democrats the answers they want. How are you feeling about the new regime coming into power at the DOJ as someone who was targeted? Do you believe we are going to finally get back to the real rule of law of which our country is based on and that is required for a constitutional republic?
I was encouraged by Pam Bondi's answers. I mean, I guess the Dems only like weaponization when it's in one direction. They want to have a cartel over weaponization. I do think we are going to see a reversal of the weaponization of government. You know, Jack Smith has broken a lot of laws, for example. They targeted me for laws that Jack Smith actually broke. I don't know how far people like Kash Patel and Pam Bondi will go, but I feel encouraged that, in my case, the J6 defendants, that Trump will keep his word, not only in terms of pardons, but in terms of a concept called restorative justice. And that includes sharing what actually happened on J6 and how the government was weaponized against ordinary American citizens and teaching the American public what actually happened. We did wrong. The federal government did wrong. We targeted Americans just like we did in 1944 when we targeted Japanese Americans. This time we targeted conservative Americans and we turned the DOJ and the FBI and the BOP on Americans. And I'm looking to the president to correct that so that all Americans understand the truth of J6. I think he will.
I love the term restorative justice, and your friend John Strand was on the show a couple weeks ago and explained that in great detail. And I think that needs to be floated out there more because people haven't really thought in that terms. They're just like, just pardon. But lives were absolutely destroyed, and they'll never be the same. So there does need to be restorative justice. You all, it's so good to see you. It's nice to have you together too. And I know, John, you might possibly have a new song for us soon. I did share it with my mother. You sent me a little snippet of it. Absolutely adored it. My mother, she's the tough critic because she grew up in a musical family, right? She grew up in a music family. Got her seal of approval. She loved it. We're both hoping you actually record the song. So let us know if you do.
I'm going to record it in a couple of days. Yeah, Dr. Gold and I are the new odd couple out here to talk about this because she's the PhD and I'm the patient. Okay, I represent all the people watching your show. I'm just a regular patient in my doctor's office, and when I couldn't get the answers I wanted, when I asked my doctor, "Hey, I've read that ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, quercetin, vitamin D, and zinc all put together in the right combo is a good way to knock COVID down." And he said, "Well, I'm sorry, I can't prescribe that." And he looked at me like I'm an idiot. What are you doing your own research? I mean, this arrogant answer. I'm sure a lot of your listeners got an answer like that when you can go to goldcare.com and they won't give you that answer. Matter of fact, they'll say, "Yeah, we can call that in for you if we can find a pharmacy near you that'll fill it," which, by the way, they will. Listen, this is the ace up the sleeve every American should have in their back pocket going forward when it comes to your family's health.
And I just noticed since I never went to the doctor a lot before anyway. I've always been a generally healthy person, but now that I've been more in tune with all the supplements that I now know more about since COVID-19, I just feel like in general, me and my family are healthier, right? Because I feel like I'm more attuned to what we actually need and there's such availability, and working with independent doctors like are represented on goldcare.com. I just feel like I have a better path, maybe a better plan, right, of how to take care of me and my family in preventative care that is healthy, actually healthy, so that we don't need pharma. So it's been a whole revolution. I love what you're doing. Go to goldcare.com, check out what Dr. Gold and John Rich are talking about. And then for your banking needs, go to oldglory.com. Thank you both. It's great to see you.
Great to see you.
Good seeing you.